Hey, welcome back to the Colts Corral. I'm your host, Brian Bibey, and tonight we're joined by Head Coach Nick Mayle, Associate Head Coach and Offensive Line Coach Toby Poling, and Running Backs Coach Gunnar Coontz. The Colts are coming off a bye week, a much-needed bye week, I might add, and now they're gearing up for Friday night battle against the Lewis County Minutemen at Lewis County. Tonight we're going to talk offense. We're going to talk about leadership and the power of mentoring within the Colts coaching staff. Honored to have Gunnar and certainly Coach Poling back again. Coach Mayle, I want to talk about this bye week. Let's reflect a little bit. How did the team use the bye week? Rest, recovery, or refinement? Maybe a little bit all three.
Yeah, we were able to, look at ourselves mostly and look at things that we could improve upon. We did some self-scouting and then able to add some wrinkles into our scheme that we're already doing. Take time to do that and get some guys extra reps. Get our younger guys more reps at practice, and had a period set apart for them. And and then we were able to take a couple of days off, and then Saturday we got back into it, and instead of doing food film and fitness for in the morning for breakfast and stuff, we did it in the evening, and we're able to go to the Philip Barber Band's Colt Classic Band Show, or whatever they do. And, it was good to see them and see what they do. And we got guys that's in the band, so being able to be there and support them. So, it was a good spot to have our bye week and, getting ready for the push towards the end of the season.
It's hard to believe we're already talking about it. Another 3 games left. We got this one away at Lewis County, and then the 2 home games here against East Fairmont and then Lincoln. So, Coach, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Lewis County team. What's been your guys' biggest area of focus this week in practice for this upcoming game against Lewis County?
They're predominantly a run team, so we've had to work on our run fits and make sure we're sound fundamentally on the defense side of the ball, and then offensively being able to execute the game plan that we have, and adding some things in that's going to take advantage of the stuff that they give us from their defense. So, and then preparing to, play on a different surface. They have one of the few grass fields in the conference. And so we spent practice time this week over on our grass practice field to make sure we're ready for that. And a little bit of rain gets real challenging sometimes. So we've had a little bit of rain this week, and hopefully I think Friday's supposed to be not raining, but the field's going to definitely have caught some rain through the week. So, being ready for that kind of stuff. So, just being ready to step up and, not come off with a bye week blues and, be ready to play Friday.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Has the intensity been there this early part of the week in practice?
Yeah, I mean, there's at times I didn't know if it was excitement just to play or, the energy has definitely been there. I mean, to the point of where it's like, hyperness and running around and, sometimes it seemed like they weren't focused, but translates into, they're just excited. I mean, a couple of the kids were commenting like, I'm just ready to play. I'm ready to get back in there and tackle somebody. And so I think they're looking forward to it.
Well, it's good to hear. Coach, you've allowed your coaching staff to really own their role. Each one of them on your staff own the responsibilities with this team and really all your previous teams. But I want to ask you, how's Toby grown into that associate head coaching role? And then the last question, what do you admire about the relationship between Toby and Gunnar? Because they've been together a while too.
Yeah, I mean, with Coach Poling, he's my associate head coach. So, at the beginning, when you meet with referees, if something would happen to me, who's in charge? And Toby's that next guy up. It just being able to, if I have ideas, I go to him and talk to him before I go and talk to the rest of the staff. So, and it's exposing him to, some of the things that, the rest of the staff doesn't really need to see and doesn't need to be a part of just because it isn't like a secret, but it's more of like, that's another stress that they don't need to have. They can focus on doing their job and developing the kids and, a lot of the administrative stuff and that kind of thing. And, I can bounce those ideas and talk with Coach Poling about that. And, he gives good feedback and then, decisions. I make sure I run it past him. I never make a decision without, seeking some counsel and getting different point of views before I make the decision. So, letting Coach Poling in on that part of it, and it's I think preparing him to one day step into that head coach role. And he's developed a lot. I mean, me and Coach Poling go way back. I mean, he was around when I was at Philippi Middle School, and he did that and was head coach at middle school, and then he volunteered for a year at AB and coached up there, and then I was able to get him back on our staff, and then I think first year maybe I was a little bit handsy with the offense, and then it got to the point, I think year 2 or so, I didn't even want the call sheet anymore, because I didn't want to mess things up. So I've kind of the offense, I have complete trust in everything that he does and installs, and now I just get to sprinkle in some ideas every once in a while, and if Coach Poling thinks it's going to work, then he's going to try it, and if it doesn't, then he's not, and we might try it, and Coach Poling he'll try something if it was my idea, and if it's not real good, then we'll both look at each other and we know that it sucked, so we'll get rid of it. So we like to bounce ideas off of each other, but come game day, I'm not trying to step in and say, hey, call this play or whatever. I might let him know to run the ball sometimes, because that's one of my favorite phrases on the sideline, is to just run the freaking ball. I mean, that's about it as far as it comes to game day stuff. So, and then, I've seen, Coach Coontz is, he's came from being a player for us. I remember, Coach Coontz cleared when he was a freshman, and then didn't play again until his senior year. And as a senior, I mean, he played center, and, he'll probably even tell you, he probably wasn't the greatest lineman that we had, but he's always willing to learn. And, Coach Poling kind of took him under his wing, even when he was in high school, and they developed, and, he's a guy that he just shows up, and he's always there he does the things that, some coaches aren't willing to do, and, maybe don't even think about. Him and Coach Poling are the guys out here setting up our end zone camera, an hour before everybody else is getting ready and all that kind of stuff. And, they get it on when we go to away games. They're there first to get that stuff set up, and then tearing stuff down afterwards. And, both of these guys are kind of like our game day tech crew. I mean, it's above my head. I don't even know how to set it up. I know it looks really good when we watch it on film,
Sure.
but I don't know what buttons to push or anything like that to get it rocking and rolling. But yeah, they're really in tune. And Coach Coontz, being younger, he keeps us all in tune with what the kids are into, and helps us, even the type of music or whatever's hot at the moment. He knows what's going on. So it's just been good to see. I think in Coach Coontz, he's developed as a coach. He's more vocal, and I think at first he was just kind of I guess you would call him like a GA, where he kind of just did what we told him to do, and now he's he's developing and doing his own thing, and he's taking over the running backs, and then he's also has a lot of offensive input. And, Coach Poling, I know how I coach. I bounce things off of him, and he's letting Coach Coontz know things on the offensive side of the ball, and they're talking that out. And, even the way that we signal in plays and that kind of stuff. That's a lot of these guys. These two are really working together to do that. So it's great to see.
I appreciate that insight. And Coach, let's I want to talk. Let's shift gears over to Coach Poling. Coach, I know you spend a lot of time with the offensive line. You're coaching them.
Yes,
but
sir.
really you're responsible for the strategy and the offensive play calling. And so you got a lot of stuff on your plate. I want to run through some numbers with you real quick. I looked at the season stats, and I wanted to share that with the listeners and the viewers here. Through 7 games, total yards, 2,298. Passing yards, 942. That's 135 per game. Passing, Robbie Jones is 49 for 91 for 104 yards. 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You'll take that ratio all day long. Cam's 4 for 6, 138 yards, 2 TDs and an interception. Receivers, Malachi, 21 receptions for 471 yards, 8 touchdowns. Pat's got 10 for 202, 3 tutties. Cam's got 15 for 193 and a touchdown. Pass completion percentage at 54%. 12 passing touchdowns total this year so far. And then on the ground, Gunnar, again, this goes with you too. 1,356 yards, rushing yards so far. That's 194 yards per game. 13 rushing touchdowns so far. Landon's leading the team with 69 carries for 720 yards, 5 touchdowns. Cam's got 61 for 467, 5 touchdowns. And then Mason's got 40 for 182 and a touchdown. With all that being said, Toby, do you like where you're at, and do you think that the offense has progressed as you expected it would, or has it exceeded expectations?
Yeah, I think we've progressed. I mean, I think early on in the season, I don't think we were where we wanted to be. But after the North Marion game, we saw something that worked. We put in that little beast package, and it's kind of, we've just built off of that for the last few weeks, and it's kind of, we progressed. I think we're right where we want to be after having the first couple of weeks that we did have, where we kind of struggled offensively. And then, like I said, after the North game, we kind of turned things around and just kind of blew it out of the water. And I think, I don't want to say we're like exceeding expectations offensively, but we're right where we need to be, I think. And hopefully we can be our best, playing our best when it's time to, playoff time.
Yeah. Well,
again, I'm not skipping Lewis County. Like, Lewis County is up, but we want to keep progressing and playing our best ball late in this season. Keep
building, right? I mean, step by step. Well, I want to talk to you about the offensive line, because you're obviously in charge of those guys, but I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this. The last 2 to 3 games is the best I've seen an offensive line play at Philip Barber since I've been doing the radio every game. I don't know what your thoughts are, but my Lord, when you got guys continuing to block 10, 15 yards down the field, and you got 50 pancakes in one game, and I saw them with my own eyes, that's impressive. And it's within the whistle. Everything's legal. I mean, I want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah, it is it is impressive. The last couple games, they're running off the ball. They're moving the line of scrimmage, just like as we preach it. We talk about it's part of our keys to victory before the game is to move the line of scrimmage, and like we do that pancake champion award each week, and they've kind of owned that, and like they're in competition to try to win it. Malachi Cross had 20 by himself last week, or 2 weeks ago against Petersburg, and then Aiden Phillips had 10. Like, you should win it with 10, but then you have Malachi just blocking through the whistle, like you said, to the whistle. But I think the difference this year with these last couple of weeks, they're moving the line of scrimmage, they're running off the ball, and whereas they're blocking somebody, and they're not necessarily pancaking where they fall on them. That's kind of the old way to do it. You pancake somebody and you lay on them, but like they're blocking somebody. Once they put them on the ground, they're looking for somebody else to block 10, 15 yards down the field.
I've noticed that they're getting to the next level and doing exactly what you guys are teaching, which is really, I think, taking you guys to another level. It's allowing the quarterbacks time, it's allowing the wide receivers get where they need to be, get open. Really, really cool to watch, and the coaching staff should be commended for that, and the players as well. I want to talk to you about what's your approach been for the line for this coming game, because it's going to be a physical game. I mean, every time you play Lewis County, it's a daggone physical game. What's been your approach with the line this week?
Yes, kind of the same kind of little key there is like we have to move the line of scrimmage. It's probably going to be a little muddy. It's on a grass field. It's our first grass field. It's our only grass field that we play on. So, just keeping our feet under us, staying balanced, and, moving off the ball and moving the line of scrimmage is pretty much the approach to almost any team we play. But with Lewis County, they do have a couple they do have a lineman and a linebacker that we kind of have to make sure we account for every time. They're pretty good. They get off the ball pretty quick, and they make good reads on film. So, just trying to identify and know where they are.
Okay. Now, that's great insight for us, watching the game, and the listeners as well. I want to talk to you about the leadership role. You've been in the program now for a long time. What's it mean to be the associate head coach under Coach Mayle?
Yeah, I think so. Last year when he told me I was going to be his associate head coach, I might have cried a little bit, maybe a little bit. I'm an emotional guy, maybe. It's just it's one of those things where you kind of go through it. Like me, I've always wanted to be a head coach. You know what I mean? But just trying to learn behind Coach Mayle and just move up. Like when our first year, I was just the offensive line coach, and then that second year is when I started calling the offense, and then third year or whatever. And now when so it's pretty emotional. It's like because you're always trying to move up, but yeah, I'm pretty happy where I'm at now. Like learning behind Coach Mayle, he does a lot of good things, a lot of things right, and just things that you take from things that we've done before. He took me to was it the WDTV, the Channel 5 after the Liberty game last year, and we talked there, or I didn't talk, but I got to watch. So doing things like that, just getting that experience and getting when he bounces things off of me, like, so we can talk through things. And it just, I couldn't I couldn't ask for anything more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been he's allowed me to learn, like being in this role, it's allowed me to learn and grow as a coach.
I was going to say, I see it with my own eyes. You learn, but you apply what you've learned. It's been pretty cool to watch your progression as well. So, appreciate what you're doing and the time you spend, because I know all you guys take time away from your family to do what you're doing and mentor these young men.
Coach Poling left that part out. Probably right now in his life, it's not probably a good time to be a head coach because he's got 4 children, just had some twins there last spring, and, in the middle of building a house and all that. So I know that my beard has grayed a lot over 5 years. I couldn't imagine being a head coach and being at his stage in life at the same time.
Yeah, I'm definitely not ready. Definitely not ready.
I don't doubt that there's not a whole lot of sleep at your house, Toby. Right?
No, there's not. I almost fell asleep a few seconds ago.
Hey, last couple questions here, Toby, then we'll get over to Gunnar. How do you balance mentoring players on the team and then younger coaches like Gunnar? How do you do that?
Well, I don't know, with Gunnar, like he was like, I've known Gunnar since his 8th grade year at Casson, when I taught at Casson. And then, I kind of moved to the high school a few years after he got here. So I think mentoring players and younger coaches, I guess you just expect. I don't really know. You kind of baffled me with your question because it's almost the same, really. Would you agree? It's kind of the same. You give them the tools and you hope that they use them. Same with like Gunnar, like, hey, he's coaching the running backs, and I've sent him different things. I tell him to do different things, and then just kind of watching him do it has been pretty cool. It's the same like with the kid. So like if you give them the tools, you tell them to do something, and then they do it, you're like, yeah, that's awesome. Like it's clicking, it's working. So yeah, you kind of baffle me with the question there a little bit, Brian, but yeah, that's what I would say. It's almost the same.
Well, it's what a good journalist does, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of baffling you with BS, I have to ask a good question.
I like it.
And you answered my last question. And, my last question was going to be, what's your proudest moment, watching him grow into a coach? And I think you answered it. I mean, it's seeing him apply what you guys talk about, what you're working on every week. And, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
yes, sir.
Toby, we're going to come back to you here. Just bear with me. But I'm going to ask you here when we get done, we're going to play word association with your offensive line. Okay. You only get one word. Okay.
All right.
So I want you to start thinking about it. So I'm going to talk about each one of those guys. You get one word to describe them. All right. Gunnar, I want to talk to you, man. Congrats on the success that you're having with the running back team, the running back group. Awesome job. How are you preparing the guys, the running backs in particular, for this Lewis County matchup?
Oh, well, they're a great group of young men, and they do what I tell them to do. I give them different drills every day to do, and they know they're playing a pretty tough team and that they're going to get hit. So, they got to be tough mentally and physically.
You've got a pretty diverse group of running backs back there. I mean, I'm just talking about the three in particular, Mason, Cam, and then certainly Landon. And they all have different backgrounds and they've all done well, What's been your coaching philosophy when it comes to developing those three in particular?
Well, once again, they're great athletes. They do what you want them to do, and I'm not going to say that I let them do what they want to do, but I just give them the tools and they do it, like Coach Poling was saying earlier.
I think too, when you've got fine young men like those three, it's pretty easy. It's a lot easier to do. Let's put it that way. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, three fine young men. So, let's talk about what's it been like, being mentored by Coach Poling.
He means a lot to me. I know him since I was in 8th grade, and ever since then, we've been really, really close. And throughout high school, I went to Young Life with him. He was my Young Life leader, and helped me, lead me on the path to know Jesus. And that's where our relationship kind of started. And I played for him here my senior year of high school, and it's been pretty cool to be a part of the coaching staff with him the last couple of years. And I love him a lot. So
Yeah, I know you guys. You got a really tight relationship. It's evident, on the field and off the field. What's let me ask this: how's your experience as a former Colt player help shape your coaching style?
It's been great. I use a lot of stuff that I was taught when I played to what I coach in today. Teaching kids to be tough and mentally, physically strong. Everything that Coach Mayle taught me, I kind of put into that coaching philosophy of just doing what you're told and listen to the coach and don't talk back. They do a lot of that. So.
It'll get you a long way in life. I guarantee you that.
Yep.
What excites you the most about this team heading into the final few weeks?
I thought we had a pretty good week of practice of just not saying relaxing, but taking a step back and looking at yourself and see what you have to work on. And we're playing a pretty good team this week, so they got to be ready to play.
Yeah, that's one thing about Lewis County, man. It's always a dogfight with those guys. Doesn't matter if it's our place or their place. It's a battle, no doubt about it. All right, let's do this, Gunnar. I'm going to come back to you now. We're going to do a word association, but we're going to do you with the running backs, okay? And then Coach Mayle, you get the wide receivers and the quarterback. Okay, since this is an offensive meeting tonight, we're having a conversation about. All right, so all the guys are going to get touched here. All right, so let's do this. Coach Poling, you'll have to help me because I don't have their lineups here in front of me, but I want to talk about the guys up front. Okay, you get one word to describe these guys, and I'm going to start with Remy. One word. When I say Remy Molinax, what comes to mind?
Probably tenacious. He's always right there. He's always doing what you tell him to do. Sometimes you have to tell him a few different times, but he's always doing what you tell him to do. And he's played injured, he's played hurt, and I wouldn't say injured, but he's played hurt. He was trying to play. I forget what game it was. He hurt his ankle when he was trying to go, and I was like, I had pretty much had to take his helmet from him from letting him play.
Okay, let's talk about Dayton. One word.
Selflessness. He first started he was a quarterback when he first came into the system, and after his sophomore year, he made the jump. He's like, I'll do it. Like, put me there, let me do it. And he made the jump to center and then eventually left tackle.
Yeah.
So selflessness.
How about Owen?
Owen. I had one a minute ago. It was, I don't know, high energy. I don't know one word, But
We'll put a hyphen in there and that'll count. How about that?
yeah, that's fine. Hyphen.
Okay.
That's
Hyper
like,
caveman.
yeah, like just high energy. Like he's the one that's coming around. Like he's always yelling. He's begging me to give him a nickname. So he's always the one that's like he's our high energy guy.
I kind of like Hacksaw for him. He just reminds me of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Yeah. He's just full throttle, man, all the time.
Yeah.
That's who he reminds me of. So I've never told him that, but you can tell him that's what I think he should be, Hacksaw. How about Quarter? Quarter comes in there and plays a good bit for you guys. He and Owen kind of switch on and off sometimes.
Yeah, they do switch on and off. And Quarters, I would say, accelerator, like in the sense of, he at the beginning of the year, I didn't know if I could trust him to come in and play very much unless we absolutely needed him to. And he's accelerated to where he's at now. And like, dude, he was in the mix. He might not have had all the pancakes as some of the other guys, but man, he was flying. He was running down the field at least Friday night. So I think he's made the biggest improvement over the last 7 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. Last two, Aiden. How about Aiden?
Let's do Malachi Cross first.
Okay.
Give me a second to think about Aiden's. So yeah, Malachi Cross is just the leadership, the ultimate leader. Like he's always showing up. He's always doing the right things. He's always I wouldn't say on to everybody to do the right things, but he's always just showing by example. He's the ultimate leader.
I like that. How about Aiden? Last one on the offensive line.
For Aiden, I wanted to say sunshine, but just because his hair. But Aiden would also be. I don't necessarily do the same word for both of them, but selflessness. Like, because he was a back, and I pretty much begged him. I think Coach Mayle begged him. I think we begged him to play the line, and it didn't have to take much. He just made some demands, said that we needed to. I can't remember what he said, but it was something crazy. But he's just a goofball. He's not selfish. He come in and he's playing that right guard, and he's pretty dang good at it.
Yes, he is.
He's like pretty hammer. He's a pretty hammer.
Yeah. Pretty hammer. Yeah, I like it. I appreciate that. It's been fun to watch those guys grow and really look forward to these last 3 games and then the playoffs. So, all right, Toby, I appreciate that. Let's go to Gunnar. Gunnar, running back room. I want to talk about one word for Mason.
I'm going to steal Coach Poling here and say selfless. At the beginning of the season, he was the starting tailback. And then a couple games in, we thought it would be better to go with Carp, and we did. And, he took that, maybe not so kindly at first, but then he learned to love the role of just, blocking for other teammates and, giving Carp the, reps, I guess.
Yeah. How about Landon? Let's go ahead and talk about Landon. One word.
Great. All offseason we try to get him to play football, and then he comes in, first year ever playing high school football. He played in 8th grade, I think, and but he played his first year of high school here, and he came in and has done amazing work. He does everything you want him to do, and he's just a great athlete at all around.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw Cam in there, and then I know he does a lot of stuff. He does everything, but I'm gonna put Cam in the running back room today. So you have him, Gunnar. One word for Cam.
I'll go with brilliant. And that beast package when he goes in there at quarterback, he can read the defenses and change it to right or left, and he's very smart. He's probably one of the top guys on the team with the highest IQ on an offensive field and football field. So brilliant would be the word for that.
It's fun to watch him. He can do. You guys put him wherever you need him, and he just excels. And appreciate that about him. All right, Gunnar, appreciate that, Coach Mayle. Let's finish up here, and we're going to include Sean Dent, the tight end, in that too. Okay, we'll include him with a receiver core. Let's talk about Robbie Jones. One word.
I'm going to say I can't describe Robbie as one word. I'll say silent leader, and he's definitely developing. He is more vocal, but and he's also checked his ego in that, where we can now go to different packages. And, he actually was our leader of the week last week because, having a Wildcat package in there that, if you're the quarterback, you want to be in there throwing the ball, but, able to put other guys in there and run. And he's telling Coach Poling, stick with it because it's working. But yeah, he's a leader among his peers. And, I'm really excited to see him develop over the next couple of years because the boy can sling it.
Yes, he can. Sean Dent, tight end.
He's worker or maybe learner. He's probably learned the most. I think, Sean has been the kid, freshman, sophomore, even beginning of this year. There is not a question that Sean hasn't asked. And some to the point where he knows the answer, but he asks the question anyway. And he's definitely asked way less questions. And he's a hard worker. I mean, he was one of the kids, he didn't miss one day weightlifting. And you can tell, I mean, the kid's put on like 25 pounds of muscle since last year. And he's just really developed a lot, from definitely freshman year, but even from last year to this year. I mean, he's now starting on the D line, and he's our tight end in my tight end packages. And, he's just really learned a lot.
He's not afraid to get in the mix, man. It's what I love about him. He gets after it. Last two guys, Pat Webster.
Finesse. Pat is, he's the guy that's going to, make you miss. Not super big guy. He's tall. He's got some speed on him, but, he can shake you out of your boots. And, he's a finesse player. Like if he can find a way around you instead of through you, he's definitely going to choose the around you route. And he's just smooth. He makes it look good.
Last one, Malachi.
Freak. He's a freak athlete, and I don't think he's fully comprehended his athleticism yet, of where it currently is and where it can be. Because he's like I said before, I think he's probably the fastest kid on our team, and he has bursts of it, and then he can make any catch, any ball you throw to him, he can make the catch, and he's just a freak athlete that you don't always get to see.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Well, man, I appreciate it. I think that's been – go ahead.
Parker Hare, he comes in and plays. So, I gave him the word next. So, next guy up, he comes in, he fills in a receiver. He's playing in the backfield, some tight end. So, I would give Parker, he's his word's next for next guy up. Because he comes in and does it all.
There's another young man that I've seen his body transform from in the weight room, and it's really a cool thing to see, And I know
he didn't miss a whole lot of days either. He missed 1 or 2 days.
Yeah. So and again, there's so many of the guys, like when you talk about special teams and the other guys play defense. There's a lot, and I don't mean to leave out anybody, but just in the essence of time, I just wanted to review those guys. And one of these days we're going to sit down and talk about all the guys on the team because you got you're going to lose a lot this after this year.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get this new group coming in. That'll be the guys will be leading and filling those voids. So I want to continue these conversations because I think it's good that the listeners and the fans get to know these kids a little bit more. And you guys are with them every day. And it's been a fun ride, and I don't want it to end anytime soon. So keep doing what you're doing, and keep coaching those kids up, man. They really appreciate you guys more than you know. Coach Mayle, before we wrap up, anything you want to add before we sign off?
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize, as coaches, and I talked about it today at practice. The kids, they're the product on the field, and the coaches and my coaching staff that you already mentioned it. There's a lot of time that goes into it, and that's away from your family and things that are going on in your life. And a great example of that. Coach Gray, our middle school coach, his mom passed away last night, and he showed up at practice today for his guys. Yeah. So that's a big deal, to recognize that. And I don't think that always gets factored in. When you got a win or a loss, that's what the fans and everybody sees from the stands. But, they don't see the day-to-day grind that the coaches go through and the things that they have to deal with. And then they have to set that all aside to give their best every day for the kids, because that's what they deserve. So, just recognizing that, when other people are caring about your kids as much as, and in some cases more than you do, then I think it's important to recognize these guys. And I'm blessed with a great staff. I mean, these two are great, but I mean, all the coaches. I mean, that's when we look at getting a staff together. It's character first, and how do they treat kids, and then we can talk about football, because you can teach a silverback gorilla X's and O's, but you can't teach a man to be a good man. So we got some great men in the lives of these kids, and I really appreciate everything they do and just showing up.
Yeah, now you couldn't have said any better. I appreciate that, Coach. Hey, tell everybody where you guys are going to be, Friday night, man. Tell them come out.
Yeah, come on down to Southwestern exit there and come to Lewis County. And I think it's supposed to be dried up, so you can might have to put some long johns on. It might be a little cool, but yeah, we last away game here of the season. So we're known for traveling well. So we need you to head on down.
Absolutely. Man, I'm going to wrap this thing up here, so bear with me. This is going to wrap up this week's edition of the Colts Corral. Big thanks to Coach Mayle, Coach Poling, and Coach Coontz. Can't thank you guys enough for taking some time away from your family, again, additional time, to spend some time with us, and really just sharing your insights on leadership, mentoring, and overall offensive strategy. Really appreciate that. As Coach Mayle said, the Colts are back in action this Friday night, 7 o'clock. They take their last road trip of the year, which is hard to believe, to Southwestern, at least for the regular season. And they're going to take on the Lewis County Minutemen. You can catch all the hard-hitting action of Colts football locally on 1240 AM and 99.9 FM WDNE. You can also stream it at www.wdnefm.com. Just go to Music and More, click on the Philip Barber stream, and you can catch all the action there. I will tell you, one of the easiest things to do, too, is download the WVRC Media app on all of your devices. Scroll down to the bottom to WDNE. Click on that radio button for 1240 AM, and you can catch all the games there no matter where you're at, on your phone, on your tablet, whatever. So I'd ask you guys to like, subscribe, share this video to stay connected with all things Philip Barber Athletics. And until next time, go Colts.